Mangwanani Malelepo Vukenjani Class Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa. Good morning. Your daily dose of sharp, relevant stories shaping our continent. Today we begin in Pretoria, where Namibian President Nandi-Ndaitwah and South African President Cyril Ramaphosa cement stronger bilateral and regional ties. We then unpack Tanzania's human rights rebuttal, the latest crackdown on Rwandan opposition, and Tunisia's sentencing of former President Mazuki. From Zambia, Mike Sichula reports on Edgar Lungu's burial saga, including President Hichilema reaffirming the Zambian government's position to bury the late President Edgar Lungu in Zambia. Finally, we bring you powerful economic developments from Namibia and South Africa, spotlighting Nigerian billionaire Aliko Dangote's Namibia visit and the World Bank's $500 million proposal for South Africa's power grid. Watch us on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, 1up2.com, and NTV Africa on YouTube. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top story shortly.
Slow internet should be a headache of the past, yet many Namibians have connections that just aren't fast. We have a solution that might set you free. It's called Mobile LTE, and it comes with real speed. You'll enjoy up to 50 megabytes per second from just $300 Namibian a month and free internet browsing after midnight till 6. When it comes to staying connected, this is it. Visit Paratus.Africa/Namibia or our branches nationwide and experience the thrill of better internet with Paratus by your side.
Always prepared, Paratus.
Let's get into our top stories. Namibian President Nandi-Ndaitwah met South African President Cyril Ramaphosa at Mahlamba Ndlovu, Pretoria, to strengthen bilateral ties. The meeting focused on deepening South Africa-Namibia relations, emphasizing mutual cooperation, regional integration through SADC, and global roles like the G20. Nandi-Ndaitwah highlighted the historic ties between the two nations rooted in their shared liberation struggles and stressed the importance of ongoing collaboration for regional stability and economic growth. Ramaphosa described the visit as a chance to cement personal and diplomatic relations, pledging continued consultation for the benefit of both countries and Africa. Discussions also covered trade, energy and infrastructure, with Namibia's oil and gas potential and South Africa's industrial capacity as key areas for synergy. News 24 noted the leaders' commitment to addressing unemployment and inequality through joint initiatives. This visit reinforced Namibia's diplomatic priority of fostering SADC unity and leveraging partnerships to tackle socio-economic challenges, marking a milestone in Nandi-Ndaitwah's regional engagements. This footage is from the Namibian presidency.
The President of Namibia, who has really honored us with a visit here to South Africa. It's a courtesy visit, and it extends the friendly relations between our two countries. And today we were also able to cement our own personal relations. We had very good discussions, and in many ways it just goes to show how close we are, South Africa and Namibia, and how we intend to extend these relations with Madam President as the President of Namibia. And so therefore we looking forward to many other occasions when we will meet and discuss issues of mutual cooperation, always seeking to advance the interests of both our countries through mutual benefit. So it's been a real honor and a pleasure to have received Madam President. Over to you, Madam.
Yes, as Mr. President has said, I'm visiting, and I think it's now a common knowledge to all citizens of SADC that I assume this position of the President of the Republic of Namibia on the 21st of March this year. And as I'm not entering a field that is not already, or a path that is not already having people walking there, I found it appropriate that as I'm settling in the office, I have to visit my neighbors, South Africa included, in order to touch base and then to learn. And of course, definitely history has it also that Namibia and South Africa, we had a long history, both political, economic, and it's very important that we maintain, strengthen that cooperation, and hence my coming here. Yes, I had a very good introductory visit, and it has really paved the way, particularly that I'm visiting President Ramaphosa when he's just preparing to assume two important responsibilities, both in the region as the incoming chair of SADC, as well as the incoming chair of G20. So it was really something that I found it was worthwhile for me to be here.
In our next story, Tanzania has firmly rejected allegations of human rights violations presented by the East and Horn of Africa Human Rights Defenders Network, affirming its commitment to freedom of expression as well as democratic principles. Addressing the 59th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Dr. Abdallah Posi, Tanzania's ambassador and permanent representative to the UN, emphasized the country's constitutional adherence and its obligations under international human rights law. He highlighted that Tanzania has held 7 peaceful multi-party elections and continues to uphold the rule of law in socially diverse societies. Dr. Posi stated that criticisms regarding individuals allegedly mistreated in Tanzania were unfounded, as these individuals did not disclose their true reasons for entering the country, an immigration breach common in many nations. He reinforced that Tanzania's democratic framework allows for dissent, including criticism of the government and its institutions remaining robust and fair. The statement served as a direct rebuttal to growing regional and international scrutiny, particularly concerning recent detentions of foreign activists and opposition figures ahead of upcoming national elections. Rwandan opposition figure Victoire Ingabire has been arrested on charges of inciting public disorder and allegedly forming a criminal organization, according to the Rwanda Investigations Bureau. Ingabire, who leads the unregistered DALFA Umurinzi party, previously returned from exile in 2010, but was barred from running for president and later imprisoned on charges she denied. She was released in 2018, but now faces fresh accusations that critics claim are politically motivated. Her international lawyer, Edwards, condemned the arrest as part of a long-standing campaign of political harassment, warning that it aims to silence dissent and intimidate others. He expressed deep concern for her safety in a political climate where opposition voices are often suppressed. The Rwandan government has not responded to the allegations. The arrest comes amid growing international scrutiny of President Paul Kagame's rule, under which Rwanda has seen both economic growth as well as accusations of authoritarianism. Last year, Kagame won re-election with 99.18% of the vote. Rights groups continue to raise alarms over political freedoms in Rwanda, especially as regional tensions and domestic crackdowns intensify. A Tunisian court has sentenced former President Mazuki to 22 years in prison in absentia on charges of undermining state security, intensifying years of a deepening crackdown on dissent under President Kais Saied. Mazuki, who served from 2011 to 2014 and is currently in exile in Paris, remains a vocal critic of Saied, accusing him of authoritarianism following the dissolution of parliament and rule by decree. This latest sentence marks the third ruling against Mazuki, following previous verdicts of 8 and 4 years in separate cases. Reacting to the ruling, Mazoki declared the verdict invalid and vowed that democracy would return to Tunisia. On the same day, a court sentenced Sabi Atik, a senior ENADA official, to 15 years for money laundering. This continues a thread of heavy sentences against opposition leaders, some as long as 66 years, under what many view as a judicial clampdown on political opponents. High-profile figures like Abir Morsi, Rached Ghannouchi remain imprisoned, fueling concerns that Tunisia's democratic transition is being systematically dismantled by the current administration. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Shortly, we'll be talking to Mike Sichula as he delivers the Zambia report, including the latest update on Edgar Lungu's burial. But first, the weather.
Taking flight has never been easier. Paratus is introducing Sky-Fi internet packages with speeds that will have you reaching for your seatbelts. Starting from $500 Namibian, excluding VAT, per month, with speeds reaching up to 10 megabits per second. There's even a prepaid option where you can top up your Sky-Fi internet for just $15 Namibian per gigabyte. No contracts, no fuss. Visit your nearest Paratus branch to find out more. Or go to paratus.africa/Namibia to sign up online.
Always prepared. Paratus.
All right, it's time to talk to Mike Sichula as he delivers the news from Zambia. Mike Ulibanji. Okay, it seems like we're having some connectivity issues with Mike Sichula. Mike, are you back with us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. All right, let's get straight into it. Give us the latest update with regards to Edgar Lungu's burial. We know that last week, Makebi Zulu, the family lawyer of the Lungus, announced that Edgar Lungu would be buried in South Africa. But just yesterday, Romeo Lamola, the foreign head in South Africa, visited Hakainde Hichilema.
Yes, that visit, like you've likely put it, happened yesterday. And from that visit, the major issue that came out was that President Hakainde Hichilema still maintained that the remains of Mr. Edgar Lungu needs to be buried in Zambia. There was nothing more as to when this will happen. So from what experts have said and from interactions that I've had with key people in government affairs, it seems the decision that was made by the Lungu family that his remains be buried in South Africa still remain on the cards, because there is no indication, even from the meeting that President Hakainde Hichilema held with the South African envoy, the foreign affairs minister for that country. There was no indication as to whether an agreement has been clinched with the Lungu family that his remains should be repatriated to Zambia anytime soon. So basically, what happened yesterday was a government-to-government engagement. If you are our viewers are aware, from the time the foreign affairs minister visited the Lungu family in South Africa, that was the first time the South African government officially visited the Lungu family. So from there, what happened was that the Foreign Affairs of South Africa needed to come to Zambia to ensure to now establish a government engagement over the burial and repatriation of Mr. Lungu's remains. Also, the Foreign Affairs Minister of South Africa did indicate that they do not have they are likely not to force the Lungu family to repatriate his remains, but accord them an opportunity to bury in South Africa as negotiations with the Zambian government continue. That news has also been received with divided reactions, with former Vice President Nevas Mumba calling on the Lungu family to ensure that the remains of Mr. Edgar Lungu are repatriated to Zambia. This has also been echoed by a number of church
mother bodies and traditional leaders, as well as some members of the ruling opposition Patriotic Front who held a meeting last week indicating that it was their wish that the remains of their leader, Mr. Lungu, be repatriated back to Zambia, but they still stand on the they still stand with the family of the Lungu family in this matter. And some of them, as we speak, have even been traveling to South Africa in preparation for burial, which is expected to take place on Wednesday this week.
All right, Mike, we'll certainly be keeping an eye on that situation. Now, where their father's remains were found at their home.
So in this case, this is one of the stories that shocked Zambia this year when a family were discovered by police of having kept the remains, the skeleton remains of their father in one of Lusaka's densely populated compounds, George compound. So after some investigations by authorities, and the matter was presented to the High Court judge last week, convicted and sentenced the three together with their neighbor in this matter for failure to disclose the death of Mr. Kalaba. Then the mother has remained in detention, accused of manslaughter. The matter that she has refused of having killed her husband. So this case drew public attention because people didn't understand how a family could stay with a dead body until it composed to a state that it only remained with skeletons. So there are issues that have been said behind the scenes to say the skeleton could have been used in ritual practices by the family with some other church leaders who are using. However, this matter has now been concluded by the court, and the three children have been saved. All the mother who bond into the case where she's accused of manslaughter.
All right, Mike, it seems we're having some connectivity issues, but I hope it stays with us. Moving on to your next story, 6 African countries, including Zambia, were taken off the list of countries with the highest rates of hunger worldwide.
Yeah, this information was released by the FAO to say Zambia now should not be listed on the list of countries with global hunger. This development has excited a number of organizations within because they are saying this is good in terms of ending poverty in Zambia. So the Zambia is among 6 African countries that have been removed from the list of global hunger hotspots. The Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Food Program have announced the removal of Lesotho, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe from the list of global hotspots. So this development is outlined in the latest Hunger Hotspots 2025 report, which reflects that Zambia has an improved food security, and this progress is attributed to interventions that have been done by the current administration to ensure that there is adequate production of food, especially in the case of Zambia, especially the production of maize, and also some interventions that government has incorporated, such as social cash transfer, ensuring that who do not have cash or access and it is also helping to ensure that there's no there's a way to ensure that there's a a system that is put in place in the reduction of poverty in the country.
All right, Mike, in the interest of time, we're going to have to end the Zambia report there, but thank you very much for bringing us those comprehensive stories.
Thank you very much, and I do keep our viewers updated as things unfold, especially in the case involving the repatriation and burial of Mr. Edgar Lungu, Zambia's 60th president, because there's a lot that is happening in the background, and anytime something may pop up. Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Africa, good morning indeed. We're going to head straight into the economic news. Africa's richest man, Nigerian billionaire Aliko Dangote, CEO of Dangote Group, paid a courtesy visit to Namibian President. The meeting focused on strategies for Africa's economic development, emphasizing intra-African investment and trade. Nandi-Ndaitwah stressed the importance of value addition, job creation, and food security to position Africa as a global economic force, advocating for public-private partnerships. Dangote echoed her vision, noting that Africa's natural resources must be harnessed by Africans to unlock their potential. The discussions aligned with Namibia's push to become a global energy hub, particularly in oil and gas, as highlighted by posts on X. The visit coincided with the Commonwealth Business Summit 2025 in Windhoek, amplifying its significance for high-level economic engagements. This meeting underscored Namibia's commitment to fostering African-led economic growth and leveraging its resources for prosperity, with Dangote's expertise in cement and oil refining seen as a catalyst for potential collaborations. And the World Bank Group is weighing a $500 million contribution toward a credit guarantee facility designed to unlock private sector investment in South Africa's ambitious electricity transmission grid expansion. The country plans to add 14,500 kilometers of new lines and upgrade transformer capacity over the next decade, with the $25 billion initiative seen as critical to ending a long-standing power crisis. The proposed facility would help overcome transmission bottlenecks that have hindered integration of nearly 20 gigawatts of renewable energy projects into the national grid, particularly those in remote regions like Northern and Eastern Cape. According to senior World Bank official Jadwiga Semilikolenova, the bank could cover $500 million of the South African government's junior capital in the credit guarantee vehicle, which would operate independently of the Treasury. South Africa is seeking to avoid additional sovereign guarantees amid economic strain, high debt service costs, and a stalled VAT increase. Other potential contributors include the African Development Bank, DBSA, Germany's KfW, and British International Investment Board. Approval from World Bank is expected later this year. Those have been our economic news stories, and those have been our stories on Africa Good Morning for this Monday. Thank you. And NTV Africa on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow with more top stories from Africa and, of course, the Zimbabwe Report with Talent Gore. From me, Ashwimberi, and the Africa Good Morning team, Sweda Jaganaka.